Whish-Wilson.
Thank you, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Trade, Senator Payne. And Senator Betts will be pleased to know it is about the Chinese free trade deal and the jobs it will provide. Minister, recently in response to a question on the benefits of the Korean, Japanese and Chinese free trade agreements, you stated that modelling shows that between 2016 and 2035 there will be 178,000 additional jobs created as a result of these deals. This figure was also repeated by the former Prime Minister, Mr Abbott. That sounds satisfying in the other place, and recently by Senator Betts in the Senate. The Minister for Trade has also referred to hundreds and thousands of jobs created in his media statements. Minister, did you take this figure from the government's report on the impact of these trade deals by the Centre for International Economics? If so, why are you quoting a figure of 178,000 jobs when the report explains there will be only 5,434 jobs in 2035?
Order. On my left. The Minister for Human Services, representing the Minister for Trade, Senator Payne.
Thank you very much, Mr President, and I thank Senator Whish-Wilson for his question. In fact, he has correctly observed that they are observations I have made in this chamber, that Minister Robb has made, Mr Abbott and a number of other enthusiastic supporters of the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement, Mr President. But really, I think if you wanted to look more accurately at the industries and at examples in our region of the huge potential in this China-Australia Free Trade Agreement, then you could just go to the evidence provided by Prime Minister John Key from New Zealand, who has, and I quote, "I'm a massive proponent of free trade, and the benefits of our FTA have been 11 times greater than the most optimistic estimates. The numbers speak for themselves. Having negotiated an agreement that is high quality, you'd like to grab it with both hands. New Zealand will be quite happy to do it if you don't." In fact, as I understand it, the New Zealand record shows a quintupling of the benefits that they were expecting under their free trade agreement. But you could also listen to the words of the dairy industry, Mr President. The dairy industry, who has said the free trade agreement will create 600 to 700 jobs in that industry in the first year alone. The Financial Services Council, which I've also referred to, who says that the agreement would result in the creation of 10,000 new jobs by 2030 in the financial services sector alone. We have other examples like New South Wales—
Pause the clock. Order, Minister. Senator Whish-Wilson, point of order.
Thank you, President. My question was specifically about the government's report, the only report that I'm aware of, by the Centre for International Economics, which is on the DFAT website, it's, as I said, 5,434 jobs versus the Minister's stated 178,000. That's out by a factor of 33, or 3,300%. So I just wanted a clear answer on that.
Thank you, Senator Whish-Wilson. I will remind the Minister of the question. She has 21 seconds in which to answer. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I'm very grateful for Senator Whish-Wilson's continued reference to the great value of the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement. And the more he acts as a sceptic, the more he continues in the negative way that he is, Mr President, the more damage there is to Australia's reputation as an open, free trading country. If that's what the Greens want to do, then that's a matter for them, Mr President.
The time for answering the question has expired. Order on my left. Supplementary question, Senator Whish-Wilson.
Damage to our reputation is actually more about how misleading the government's been on this. As I said, figures are out by 3,300%. This is a significant error. On behalf of the government and the Minister for Trade, will you take this opportunity, please, to correct the record? And can you explain if you were deliberately misleading the Senate and the Australian people, or if this was just an embarrassing mistake or an oversight?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. And what I will take the opportunity to do, Mr President, in response to Senator Whish-Wilson's invitation, is I'll take the opportunity to re-emphasise what a groundbreaking opportunity this is for this nation. I will take the opportunity to confirm the value of the initiatives under the Free Trade Agreement, like the ones I was speaking about before. And in fact, I didn't finish those, Mr President, so I might go back to those. For example, the Seafood Trade Advisory Group. Now, if I was from Tasmania, Mr President—
Order on my right. On my right. Senator Di Natale, point of order.
Yeah, point of order, Mr President. And you've been very good in drawing ministers' attention to the question. This was a very, very simple question. Does the minister stand by the figure of 170,000 jobs, or will she correct the record as indicated on the DFAT website?
Thank you, Senator Di Natale. I will remind the minister of the question and advise she has 32 seconds in which to answer. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President, and thank you very much, Senator Di Natale, because I was talking about Tasmania, and I was talking about the importance of the seafood industry to Tasmania, as I recall. The Seafood Trade Advisory Group, and we are talking about numbers of jobs, Mr President, numbers of jobs, which is what
Minister.
Senator Whish-Wilson asked me about.
Senator Di Natale, a further point of order.
I think you know where I'm. I think you know where I'm about to go, Mr. President. I ask you to draw the minister's attention to the question. It's a very simple one. Does the minister stand by the figure of 170,000 jobs, or will she now correct the record? This is very, very serious. Will she correct the record? Otherwise, she has misled the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Di Natale. I will remind the minister that she has 18 seconds left in which to answer the question. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I have said, Mr President, that I stand by what I have said in this place, and I stand by what Minister Robb has said in relation to the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement. If that's not clear enough for Senator Whish-Wilson and his leader, then, Mr President, I fail to see what would be.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Whish-Wilson, a final supplementary question.
Thank you, President. Given the employment figures the government have been touting are complete bunkum, and it's a significant matter of public interest for the Australian public to know this, does the minister accept that this totally undermines the government's credibility on claims about rivers of gold resulting from these trade deals? And what else has the government misled the Australian people on regarding these free trade agreements?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I absolutely do not accept Senator Whish-Wilson's characterisation of that in any way, shape or form. What I do accept is the evidence provided by countless numbers of industry organisations, of businesses in this country who are just waiting for the opportunity to take up the chances under the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement to transform their industries, to transform their businesses and to create jobs in this country. And if the Greens and those opposite, Mr President, are not prepared to support the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement to enable it to come into force by the end of this year, so we can have a first set of tariff reductions before the end of this year and a second set of tariff reductions next year, then they are putting in jeopardy those jobs. We will not do that.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Cameron.